Battlers, I am back. Welcome to another episode of the Knighted Podcast Match Rewind Edition. Well, when it comes to hard work, Battlers, and getting the job done right, none do it better than our good mates at A+ Contracting and Polywelding. Just like our mighty Newcastle Knights left it all on the field last week, A+ Contracting brings that same level of dedication to the mining and civil projects industry, where they are the experts you need for professional, cost-effective, and comprehensive contracting services. They do the hard work, Battlers, so you don't have to. Well, numbness, pain, pride, shock, and grief. Just a few of the emotions swirling around after last night's game. A game full of soaring highs and absolutely crushing lows. A game played by a team struck down by illness in the hours and even days leading up to the kickoff, and yet, Battlers, they did us proud. As we navigate the dark hole of disappointment, let's pause. Let's find ourselves. Let's pull ourselves out of this emotion and look back at the facts. This was a side dragged through the media headlines, surrounded by speculation about our captain and our coach, a sideline physically drained, literally battling an illness. And somehow they pushed a top 4 team all the way to the 80th goddamn minute of that football game. It's the kind of game that gives you both grief and pride in equal measure. And tonight, we unpack it all together. So look, Battlers, not only that, we'll be taking a look at this week's Knighted News. We'll be naming your Nitanium Forge Player of the Week. I will be giving you my Paycat Knighted Players of the Week, as well as answering your Get Out Alive Fire Safety Training burning questions. So, Battlers, sit back and get ready for one of the most cathartic episodes yet, as we take a look at the Adam O'Briens and outs of last night's heartbreaking game against the Wars. Let's go. All right, first things first this week. This one comes out to you War supporters, and you're thinking, Link, why on earth are you going to be glazing the War supporters? Well, I'll tell you why, Battlers. Now, you've all probably seen the viral hit sensation that is that selection of videos of me enjoying the absolute emotional highs of watching rugby league football and the crushing blows that came at the end of that game. And, you know, shout out to you that tuned into the Knights watch. I know it's going absolutely gangbusters. The War supporters have absolutely been eating it up. It's getting thousands and thousands and thousands of views. I've got fucking New Zealand fucking radio stations getting about it as well. And look, it's all in good fun. And the only reason I put it all together is because I know the War supporters. We've got a good thing going with the War supporters. They're always very, very gracious. Look, of course, you're going to get the occasional dickhead. That's fine. That's fine. I'm big enough. I've got thick enough skin to wear that. But shout out to you guys, because I went through this, not a crushing, heartbreaking defeat like we witnessed last night, but you've done it to me before when I was over in Christchurch, and you guys were gracious then and you're gracious now. Again, plenty of messages, comments from you guys saying chin up. You know, some of them even saying we deserve to win that game. So just want to put a massive shout out to you War supporters. We love you here. I know there's going to be a fucking stack of you coming back. You just want to come back and listen to me in fucking pain and misery. I understand that. But you're going to be tuning in again. But this one goes out to you. It makes it so much easier to lose a game of football like that when it's a team like that. You do not want to see me come back on camera if the Broncos had done that to us. Put it that way. I would have, I couldn't even put into words what mental state I would have been in. I'd be, God knows, I would have, when I downed the headset after that stream, I just killed the stream. I would have just started running. I don't know where I would have been running to. I would have just been aimlessly wandering in the wilderness somewhere. So, yeah, first things first, brought to you by our mates at Newcastle Mixed Martial Arts, which is Newcastle Lake Macquarie's and the Hunters highest-rated mixed martial arts gym with more than 355 5-star Google reviews. beginners are welcome and encouraged into their safe, inclusive, and most importantly, battlers fun training center. Head coach Jess Landry's experience includes being directly trained by UFC veterans, as well as under the wrestling coach of the Sydney Roosters. Newcastle Mixed Martial Arts is centrally located in Cardiff, baby, right beside the Cardiff train station, offering day and night classes for kids, teens, and adults, including Muay Thai kickboxing, gi and no-gi Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and mixed martial arts. So make sure you go book your free trial by visiting their website at newcastlemma.com.au. Well, battlers, MWA supporters, I know you're in there. If you're enjoying the stream, make sure you give it a big old thumbs up. Do your boy a favor. He's been put through the fucking ringer, all right? It's absolutely fucking heartbreaking having your emotions just on display by the masses. So make sure you give that this video a big old thumbs up. Hit it harder than a Broncos 5'8" hitting an Uber. And if you can, make sure you go find us on all your social media platforms. Wherever you're wasting your time on, look us up, The United. We are going to be there. Hit that follow, subscribe button, whatever it may be. It really does help us out here. It really, really does. So it'd be greatly appreciated if you could do that. If you're listening to this after the fact on Spotify, make sure you give us a big old 5-star review. All right, it really does help us out, battlers. Truly, cost you nothing, cost you mere seconds of your day. Do that for your boy Link. It'll go a long, long way. We would be greatly, greatly appreciative. All right, let's kick it off. Let's kick it off with a high battle. Let's pick ourselves up off the floor with this week's United news. We're all stoked. I know it's been a little bit, but fuck it. We're going to jump straight back into it. The news. Kalen Ponga coming out, silencing the media, going, I ain't going nowhere. I'm not going to Union. I'm not going to the fucking Roosters. Wherever the hell the media, the Sydney media kept speculating where our boy's going to go. Well, he squashed that. He's come out. He said, I'm committed. I'm locked in all the way to 2027. Put it to bed. Put it to bed.
Had his Wolf of Wall Street moment.
Absolutely had his Wolf of Wall Street moment. I ain't going anywhere. How good was that to see after, an emotional roller coaster that was the media, the Newcastle Knights and the media early last week, for him to come out, put it to bed. Even on the roster review show, the last United episode that I did, I was even questioning, boy, geez, the fact that no one's come out of the KP camp and sort of put this to bed was getting me worried, but he heard my pleas. He came out. He's done that for us. We can all sleep a bit easier. It's going to be a huge distraction coming into this week, so glad he got that put to bed once and for all. So let's look forward to that. Now we can just look forward to Kalen Ponga 2026 coming back in Vegas, baby. Dill Brown's coming. Razor Sharp's coming back. Dill Lucas is going to be fit. Plenty to look forward to kick off the 2026 season for the Newcastle Knights. So awesome news there. Awesome news continues. The Newcastle Knights unveiling the 2025 Indigenous jersey today. And I tell you what, huge shout out to NIB. Now, if you're watching the YouTube stream right now, you can see how many times have we want the NIB sponsor to finally be integrated, be less of an eyesore on some of these jerseys. They did it for our Anzac Day jersey, and we were super appreciative. You know what? They've done it again. They've got rid of the big fucking, I don't know what you call it, but green background. They've gone white. They've just gone the text. Looks great. Great design. Loving the red and the white in there. You guys let me know. You guys let me know where the 2025 Newcastle Indigenous jersey ranks among all the Indigenous jerseys. I've got all of them bar one. I'm tracking down the 2022 one. So if you got one in a 2XL size, shoot me a message. Your boy's still chasing one of those down. But yes, so the Newcastle Knights available. I don't even know if it's available to buy yet or not. Let me know. Drop a comment away. I don't even know if it's available to buy in the Night Store. You can pre-order or whatnot. But there you go. It's a good one. I like it. Really like this one. All right, let's do it, battlers. We've been treading water long enough. Let's try and make sense. Let's try and bring our emotions out in this game, because this one is going to be one of them almighty game reviews. Let's do it. Let's just dive head first, shall we, with the Newcastle Knights hosting the New Zealand Warriors. Sunday, 4 p.m. kickoff, going down 5 points. Surely you could count on one hand how many times a rugby league team has lost by 5 points ever in the competition's history. 15 points to 20. As I said before, a game that had soaring highs. I was soaring like an eagle. Some might say soaring like a goose. But boy, oh boy, did this game deliver everything. It literally had everything. It ticked the box. If you had a rugby league checkbox, but everything you want in there, it had it all. It had it all. If there were 100 things on that list, this game ticked off 100 of those items. All right, let's get into it. Now, as we said on the roster review show, kind of breaking down the game plan that Andrew Webster has been bringing all season for a team that I think even WA supporters would look at and go, on paper, they certainly probably wouldn't think that they're a premiership contender, but here they are. They're top four, and they're top four for a reason, because they know the identity of this football team. They know how to execute, and they know their pillars. And that pillar, their first and foremost, is possession. And for long periods of this game, we started to see it unfold, didn't we? We really did. It was really uncharacteristic for Dallin Watene-Zelezniak to cough the ball over so cheaply at the start of the game. Immediately, we're thinking, ooh, okay, we've got the Wars, they caught them napping here. They're going to be a bit off today, but no, they got into their work pretty darn quickly, winning that field position battle, winning that momentum. Super unfortunate, 7th minute, Adam Pompey crosses over for a pretty cheap try, and we're all sitting there going, oh, boy, here we go. Voice for Mining Round. The boys should be up for this one, looking shit hot in the high-vis jerseys. And, we're sitting there going, boy, that looked way too easy. Tanner Boyd having a great game. He had some really, really great kicks. I know he had 2 that he loved back, but boy, oh boy, short kicking game, long kicking game. Tanner Boyd brought it. And, he made it look very, very easy, putting in a really depth kick there for Adam Pompey. But credit to our boys. Didn't put our heads down, got back into our work. We've got a really, really good defensive system, and the boys, backed themselves in. For long, long periods of time, the Warriors just kept turning the screws, turning the ball over right in our red zone, and just making us trying to work out of our own end, and we just didn't have a reply to it. And you could just see it unfolding, and oh shit, we need something. We need a penalty, a line break, something to break the game open. But it was all playing into the Warriors' favor. But they were really unfortunate. The Wade Egan double movement, huge try-saving effort there by Dan Gagai to stop that one. The forward pass out to DWZ. So we could be staring down the barrel of, 3 tries before we even really got a shot. And we did have our shots early on, didn't we? There was a couple of periods there early in the set. And we're again going back to going, oh, here we are. Here the Newcastle Knights gifted prime field position and just failing to execute, dropping the ball or whatnot. Greggy Marzu spilling his lollies. He looked absolutely certain, didn't he? No one was going to stop him from that far out. He coughs the ball up, and we're all thinking, oh, boy, is Greg in for one of these type of games today? But didn't happen. So, what have I got here? As I said before, Warriors, unlucky with Wade Egan and DWZ, but they kept on coming. And then, once we started to complete high, gain a bit of field position, what happened? We managed to score 3 tries, battlers, in the space of 9 minutes. And we're sitting back going, all right, here we go. Because both teams watching this game back were completely and utterly leaning into their strength. This is why it was so goddamn close. Like, looking through the game stats, let's take a brief look at these game statistics for the Newcastle Knights and the Warriors here, if I can find it quickly. Team stats. So here we go. 51% possession to the Wars, 49, obviously, for the Knights. 80% completion for the Knights, 82 for the Wars. 179 runs for 1,512 run meters for the Knights. 172 runs for 1,614. So, a mere 100 meters, really, over the course of the game. Nothing too crazy. Post-contact meters, 511 for the Knights, 565 for the Wars. Bit of a disparity here, 6 line breaks to 3. But as I was saying before, I feel like we had the more potent edges. If both edges were playing to their potential, the Newcastle Knights had their number, and I really feel like we exploited them on that. I think that was one of our greater strength coming into this game. 30 tackle breaks to the Knights, 24 for the Wars. Average set there since 42 to 39. What else have we got here? Kick defusal, 56 to 45%. Tackle efficiency, 89% to 88%. 353 tackles made for the Knights, 326 for the Wars. Newcastle missing 24 tackles. The Wars missing 30. 19 ineffective tackles to 14. 9 errors apiece. So, again, a game we're looking back at, much like the Storm. And a lot of these statistics are very, very similar. So, both teams, watching this game I didn't watch it back. I didn't have the heart to watch it back. I'm going back on my night's watch here. I'm struggling to remember a player that had a really poor game. It just struck me as one of those games where everyone was on. Everyone was playing, at the bare minimum, a 7 out of 10. There wasn't anyone having a stinker out there. It looked like for both coaches would have been pretty darn happy, I feel, with all their players in the field. They all brought it. Every one of them brought it today. I know, it was a bit of an arm wrestle. For periods of time, the Wars got it up on us, and then we would return serve, and we would dominate possession and get some points, and it was a real back and forth there. So, but, the first half, obviously going in with the lead, somewhere we've been before with the Melbourne Storm. One thing, talking back, on the night's watch was how crucial that last 5-10 minutes of that half was, because that's where we lost the game against the Storm. We just switched off. The Melbourne Storm, too classy. The Wars, they're top 4. They're a fucking top 4 team. You can't switch off. But it was really pleasing to see we round out that half. And that way we could start the second half really well. So that was really pleasing to see. That was a nice uptick from what we saw last week. And as I said before, 3 tries in 9 minutes, and we're going, oh yeah, baby. I know the conversions is another thing. You shouldn't ever rely on your bloody goal kickers to win your games. I know there's a lot of people sitting there going, we need a fucking goal kicker and this and that. Well, it sucks. It would have been nice if we kicked 1 or 2. But look, at the end of the day, they're all bloody out on the edges. I don't know. It's going to be a bit hard to complain about there. But look, the late game. Now, this is where both teams were absolutely gassed. The fatigue had well and truly set in. This was a battle for the ages here for both teams, and fatigue in the last 10 minutes was absolutely huge. You would see both teams have really great defensive sets, and then you would just see some, individual brilliance by a ball runner who would somehow manage to get 10, 15 meters on the back of that play and sort of undo all that hard work, from the defending team, and sort of no team really got on top of one another there. Which was super annoying. It was great when we did it, but when, cast my mind back, I think it was Wade Egan, we had a really good defensive set, and then he managed to break a tackle or two, and, they managed to get a great kick away from Tanner Boyd. So it was kind of a real arm wrestle there for big periods of the game. But the Wars showed their hand early, didn't they? Electing to go for the field goal. I think there was 7 or 8 minutes left on the game clock, and we're thinking, ooh, here we go. The top 4 team coming to town, taking shots at a field goal, which I was very, very surprised at. I was very surprised they sort of showed their hand. Obviously, he missed that. And then, his next kick also he'd love to have back. That's the one where Boyd had a brain fart and he fucking kicks it way dead. Gives us, I'm pretty sure that set, wasn't it? We marched all the way down. Shout out to Jack Cogger. Jack Cogger with fucking, and in the post-game presser, Dane Gagai was even saying they didn't even set that play. That was just purely eyes up footy by Jack Cogger, out of position. I think when you want to be kicking field goals, you want to be square to the goalpost. He's way out on the left edge, fucking kicks it. I think we're all sitting there going, fuck, hoping and praying. It must have just barely scraped over the crossbar there. And we're up by 1 with, 7 or so minutes to go, 6 minutes. And we're hanging on for dear life. And then we get the fucking... Make of it what you comment. I know there was one. I'm certainly not blaming the refs in this game whatsoever. I know there was a couple of calls where we were like, ooh, don't know about that. The square at marker penalty by Jackson Hastings. And we're just sitting there going, oh, God, here we go. We're going to lose this game under these circumstances. That would have almost been less heartbreaking, I guess. I probably would have preferred that. But anyways, and then... yes, I haven't even brought it. You know what? I can't even relive that last passage of play. I had my head in my hands, and I can't even make sense. Lou, have you even gone back and watched that last try?
I have.
Ugh.
And all I can think of, nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday.
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday.
Watching it.
Oh, yes. And then heartbreak struck. And, as I was saying before, battlers, crushing lows, massive highs. But when you put it back in the context, it's the old adage: when emotions are high, intelligence is low. And then when you start to put the game in a real context, you go, he was a top 4 team. They're a top 4 for a reason. I know they got their injuries, but they're a fucking good team nonetheless. The fact that we took them all the way to the 80th minute, and I know, it could have gone fucking one or two ways at the end there. It's just the luck of the fucking bounce sometimes. Sometimes it goes your way. Fucking unfortunately, sometimes it does not. Yeah. Halasima there. It's certainly one that he'll remember for the rest of his life in front of the fucking battlers there at McDonald Jones Stadium. But look, let's kick it off with some of our boys. As I said, it was still a very courageous effort by the Newcastle Knights. You go back to listen to Adam O'Brien's press conference there, and it wasn't some, excuse or mitigating circumstance. We weren't sort of hanging our hats on that at all. But Jesus, this gastro bug fucking did the rounds through our club. They were scrambling even on the morning of. He said, I must have rewritten this team list about 4 times. He honestly didn't know who was going to be fit enough to play. Brodie was obviously was a late scratching into the game, and Tommy Cant comes in. Jacob Saifidi playing very limited minutes. I know he was our player battle matchup heading into this week, but, credit to the guy. Somehow, I think it was only 28 odd minutes. The guy would have been absolutely crook as a dog to get out there and do what he did. But anyways, let's kick it off. Let's kick it up with this week's Nitanium Forged Player of the Week, brought to you by LGB Marine, the experts on building resilience on and off the water. Just like the toughest structures they construct, this week's player has been battle-tested, unshaken, and built to withstand anything. LGB Marine, strength, precision, resilience. Let's dive into this week's winner. And battlers, he picked up an enormous amount of votes. That's right, our captain this week, filling in at fullback once more, Dane Gagai. And what an absolute captain's knock it was from Gags this week. He was absolutely everywhere. As I said earlier, that try-saving tackle, which, a lot of people don't even recall after some lazy marker defense. We all know how crafty Wade Egan can be. For him to get, he stopped that. He literally stopped the try there at that point of the game. And then, boy, oh boy, how funny was it seeing his eyeballs just about pop out of his head when somehow Greggy Marzu manages to pop that ball up. Bang, he scores a try. It was great to see him rewarded there for a really good performance. Let's go through some of Dane Gagai's stats, shall we? In the 80 minutes, he's obviously bagged a try, 21 runs for 152 of the best, 49 post-contact, 5 tackle breaks, 2 line breaks, 1 line break assist, 1 offload, 7 tackles, 2 missed, only the 1 error there. Again, we're all sitting there scratching our heads and going, why, oh, why have we not re-signed Dane Gagai? Seriously. I've had my trepidations in the past. I think I've been asked on a couple of times, would you have Dane Gagai as captain? And I just thought, some of the brain snap stuff we've seen in the past would probably push me away from making that decision. But boy, oh boy, talk about leading by example. I keep saying age is just a number to this man, Mr. Cabernet Sauvignon. Just gets better with age, this bloke. I think we're all sitting here just wanting the news that the Newcastle Knights have agreed to terms with Dane Gagai, lock him up, give him the farewell tour he deserves. This bloke, the last month, 2 months, has just been absolutely immense for us. Lord knows where we would be if we didn't have Dane Gagai in the building. These kind of games we play, your veteran players are invaluable, absolutely invaluable. And Dane brought that in spades once more again, playing at fullback. Again, is he Kalen Ponga at fullback? No. Is he a razor sharp at fullback? No. But, the guy's absolutely everywhere. He's going to give it 110%. I don't want to hear a bad word spoken about him missing that tackle on Halasima there at the end. The guy would have been absolutely gassed. It just is what it is. At the end of the game there, it would have been a Herculean effort to try and stop him at that point. But it is what it is. Raging back row coming at him. I certainly don't feel like Dane had a bad game. And you can't just mark him off that one missed tackle there. It is what it is. He was absolutely spectacular. Let's move along, shall we? I'm going to give you my Knighted Players of the Week, brought to you by Paycat. Payroll made easy by a crew in Newey who know their stuff. Whether you're paying the boys on a construction site or sorting out that tricky Shads award for your NDIS biz, Paycat makes it dead easy, baby. They back hundreds of businesses and even help an NRL club keep their payroll running smooth. You can run payroll yourself or get the Paycat team to do it for you. Either way, battlers, you'll have more time to crack a cold one and watch the footy. Let's take a look at some blokes that absolutely earned their pay this week. And yes, I'm in agreement with you. My 3 points this week goes to Mr. Cabernet Sauvignon, Dane Gagai. What much more can we say about Dane that we haven't already said the past few weeks? Another immense performance there from him back at fullback. 2 points this week. Now, he is a guy that's been much maligned this season. I know his performances have been, a little up and down, but boy, oh boy, I thought Cogs had a great, great game. Great game up on that left edge there. A bit of a mixed bag. He obviously would love to have that line break again. He had a great dummy, backed himself there and fucking coughed the ball up. Super unfortunate is what it is there. But tell you what, talk about nailing the moments. We talked about execution and nailing moments under pressure. Well, none epitomise that more than that field goal that he kicked late in the game, which gave us the lead. It could have been one of the all-time great field goals. I was putting it akin to that of the 2003 field goal Kirk Gidley kicked at Suncorp Stadium with Giant Winters. That one barely crossed the crossbars too, but got the job done. It's just super unfortunate the way it played out. It'll kind of be forgotten a bit, but I thought he was really great. Really well connected in offense there. I think both halves had a pretty darn good game. Huge shout out to Cogs. I thought he was really, really good. The running game unlocked plenty of players around him. That left edge was absolutely cooking off the back of what some of his plays there. So I thought he was quite good. In 1 point, a guy that the highlight package certainly won't show you a lot of offensive stuff, but holy shit, Kai Pearce-Paul in defense is a beast. He's an absolute beast. It was that good. Now, there could have been so many players on the list. I could have had Fletcher Hunt. I could have had Dom Young. I could have had Greg Marzu. I could have had Leo Thompson, Phoenix. The list goes on. There were so many players I could have given it to, but battlers, when you see some of the statistics that Kai Pearce-Paul was posting this game, it's phenomenal. In the 80 minutes, he's got the try assist, 11 runs for 115 of the best, 54 post-contact meters, 2 tackle breaks, but here's the big one, 43 tackles, 0 missed. And these tackles, they were with intent. This man is looking to hurt the opposition. How many times, I can't remember who it was, he got under someone for a big guy to jam him up and put him flat on his back. Oh, man, I'm going to miss this man next season. Once Benji can unlock his attacking ability, he's just a complete package. He's a complete package. We have unfortunately not been able to unlock this man. I want to at least see a month of football where he's just unbridled and just doing things with the footy that we all know he can do. We see glimpses of it every now and then. We just don't see enough of it. But, geez, I've said it time and time again. When these Super League guys come over, you know what they can bring in attack. Where they're great ball carriers or ball players. It's the defensive side, the rigors of playing in the NRL. Ben, Jesus, he's a stud. He is an absolute defensive stud, Kai Pearce-Paul. I don't think any of us thought when we signed him we would just be revering his defensive side of his game. He has had another massive game. And again, it pains me to see him leave the building, but it is what it is there. Let's have a chat about some of the other guys now. A guy that's, I think we're all thinking is going to be filling in for Kai Pearce-Paul, and that's Jermaine McEwen. This guy is going to be a future star. Clearly, he's not the complete package yet. Still very, very, very early into his rugby league career, but boy, oh boy, isn't there some X factor? There's some physicality about him. He's got the footwork, got a bit of ball playing about him too, which I like. Again, not a complete game. We saw there, I think it was the Valmoga try there. Got caught a little bit, half a step or two out. Unfortunate there in the second half, they get a try off of that. He butchered that pass when he had that another one similar. You had the Greg Marzu incident, the Jack Cogger incident, the massive line break, and then we had bloody Jermaine McEwen with another huge line break. Unfortunately, just couldn't get the pass away to, 2 blokes on his outside that were fucking unmarked. We would have scored. Anyways, is what it is there. Topped the tackle breaking camp for the Newcastle Knights with 5 missed tackles. I thought he was absolutely immense, and there's plenty to look forward to. So again, silver linings. I know it sucked. We saw Dill Lucas in the moon boot on the scooter on the sidelines, but the upside is you're going to get more games in the guys like this, and it's going to fare us well long-term heading into 2026. So I think the more weeks we're seeing, it's becoming more and more cemented that he was going to be that right edge back rower. I thought he was absolutely insane there. Tyson Frizzell, he was another guy very similar to Dane Gagai. Came in, it's no coincidence that once he came on a few minutes after that, the try started coming. Literally minutes after he takes the field, he had an immediate impact. He was running great lines, bending back that stoic, fucking strong Warriors defensive line. They're renowned for that, and he had some brilliant runs there. He was a guy that was real touch and go, literally up until the hours of the game. Adam O'Brien's like, I don't know if this bloke Tyson Frizzell could literally run out there and shit his pants. Like, this man was literally fighting this fucking gastro illness right until the last minute. Probably had nothing left in him, the poor bastard. Probably had no fluids, no food, nothing. Probably coming out of both ends, the poor prick. And he's come out there and just put on a great performance. And again, going back to what I was saying earlier, these veteran players are fucking invaluable in games like these. They show you their worth so much. So let's hope off the back of these two great performances by both these guys, we get a deal done. I thought he was absolutely huge. Who else I got here? Again, getting back to JSAF, it's just super unfortunate. I think he was a guy that was probably the most crook. Very limited minutes. Didn't get to see a lot from him. But that moves me across to the next guy, Leo Thompson. 70 minutes going toe-to-toe with some of the big dogs in the Wars, including James Fisher-Harris. And didn't he go after it? Here's Leo Thompson's statistics from that game. What have we got? 70 minutes from the big dog, 14 runs for 118 of the best, 47 post-contact meters. He's got the 1 tackle break, 1 offload, 45 tackles, only 2 missed. The 1 error. One thing I will say, and we had a Bulldog supporter on the stream asking us about Leo Thompson on the Night's Watch, do not let that man captain's challenge. One of the all-time worst captain's challenges ever. Could have come in clutch later in the game where I don't know why or how that referee thought Bradman Best knocked that ball on. The one where he's batted it back mere meters out of our in goal and he's going, nah, it's gone forward. I don't know what he's thinking there. But look, apart from that, geez, Leo stepped up. It was a huge game. Again, a guy's got a long ways to go in his career, but you can see the ceiling is high and he's going to thrive at the Bulldogs, which again sucks. I hate glazing these guys that aren't going to be in the club anymore that have got such high ceilings and such promising futures, but let's just enjoy them while they're still here, battlers. Let's enjoy them while they're still here. You never know. There could be Dominic Young all over again. What happened to the last time we let an English player go to a Sydney club? They came back to us. You never know. So I thought Leo was absolutely massive. To play 70 minutes and, as I said, going toe-to-toe with a big dog like James Fisher-Harris is fucking immense. So I thought he was really, really good. Jackson Hastings, much improved game from what we saw at the Storm. He was all over. He was really involved, leading the kick meters there. Super unfortunate he couldn't kick either conversions. Can't really fucking hang too much on that, though. Interesting. He's still doing the majority of the kicking. Obviously goes to show he's come a long, long way with that ankle, which is really, really pleasing. Some great touches with some great kicking options there, particularly to that right edge, which I'm just about to go to. That's going to be my segue to go to the right edge. Fletcher Hunt had another spectacular game. Again, he had one moment there he'd love back if he just shuffled the ball out to Dominic Young. Dominic Young was scoring basically untouched. Look, he'll live and learn from that. The aerial threat. We have I reckon, honestly, the greatest aerial threat edge in the league. If you're a half and you're looking to kick, what a perfect option. Kai Pearce-Paul, 6'6" something, right? Fucking enormous. Dominic Young, 6'6", fucking huge. And then you got the flying mullet, right? Doesn't matter where you place the ball. Just kick it to the right edge. You're going to get someone who's going to go goddamn close to catching that football. I want to see more and more of that. You don't even have to be that accurate. Either from your edge back rower to your center to your winger, you got it covered. That right wing should be priority number 1 to getting cross-field kicks to. I want to see more and more of that. We know Jackson Hastings got it in him. And I won't hear any criticism about Jackson Hastings' attacking kicking game. The guy has proven time and time again he has a great kicking game. We just got to unlock it, got to give him that license. So let's hope we play a little bit more of that, because I feel like it's a really, really underutilized bow to the Knights' attack. Got to lean more into that. Want to see more of that. But yeah, Fletcher Hunt, again, great to see him rewarded with another trial. We all know what he's about. Another silver lining, getting more and more games into this young guy. said it's going to be very interesting. If Gags does stay or if he doesn't, we got a genuine battle on our hands for that center spot. You still got the Schiller instinct doing his thing coming to preseason, and this is what you want, isn't it? You want those the battle for positions. The old saying, iron sharpens iron. So you don't want any jersey just to be a given. So the fact we've got some pressure on some positions bodes us very, very well moving into this. Greggy Marzu, as I was saying before, coughed his lollies up early. We knew DWZ was going to be climbing all over him, which he did. Tanner Boyd, like every fucking half in the comp is going to be wanting to kick the ball to Greg Marzu. But look, Greg delivers. Greg always delivers. Look, here's the statistics for our boy Greggy Marzu. Obviously, 80 minutes played, 18 runs for 188 run meters, which was the leading run meter count for the Newcastle Knights on the game. 59 post-contact meters, 3 tackle breaks, got the 1 line break assist, 1 offload. What a beautiful offload that was. 2 tackles, 0 missed. Does have the 3 errors there, a bit of a mixed bag in that regard, but all in all, completely impacted the game in a more positive way. He certainly did more good than he did bad. And it's just something I think we're just going to have to learn to live with. He does so much work with your first or second carries just coming out of your own end. He's such a fucking handful. How many times did we see the Wars really starting to try and get numbers in tackles? And Greggy's just fucking bouncing out of him. He's just immune to that shit. It'd be so frustrating for a coach like Andrew Webster to try and contain a guy like that, to stop the momentum coming out of our own end. And he just does it time and time again. And I think we just have to learn to live with, you know what? Got to take the good with the bad. He is what he is, Greg. He's always going to have that aerials, he's always going to be probably dominated more times than not when it comes to being, under the high ball. It's just all the other stuff he does so well. So well. We've just got to learn to live with it. But yeah, is there anyone that I'm missing? Is there anyone that's in the comments that I've missed that's they've been glazing particularly, Lou?
Frizz. Did you mention Frizz?
Yeah, I went through Frizz. As I said before, when he came on, immediate impact. I thought he had a great couple of runs there, bent the Warriors line back. Real stoic leadership performance there by our boy Frizz off the bench. I thought he was immense.
Noah said Bradman Best was stressing the Wars every time he got the ball.
Bro, he's stressing everyone every time he gets the ball lately. Now, looking back at Bradman's stats, they're not like, by his lofty standards, you wouldn't look at it as a game going, oh, he was quiet. He certainly wasn't quiet. What have we got? 80 minutes here, 13 runs for 143 run meters, 52 post contact, 2 tackle breaks, which is massively low for Brady Best. Usually he's, it was 10 last week against the Storm. Huge. We've got 1 line break assist, 1 offload, 10 tackles. He did have 6 missed. He did have a bit of a mixed bag there on the edge. But look, all in all, he was absolutely sensational. He's a guy that we keep saying, you just got to give him the ball, give him that early ball, and it just seems like even half a chance something happens, doesn't it? Just something seems to happen around him. But yeah, I thought, again, it's just super unfortunate. He's got a couple of great players in Latrell Mitchell and Stephen Crichton that are keeping him out of this State of Origin team. Literally one injury, and he is straight into that team. We know he's a big game player. Obviously, got the milestone game yesterday, 100 NRL games. Boy, oh boy, hasn't it been an absolute pleasure seeing that 100 games come through? It wasn't all that long ago, battlers. People have fucking short memories. People slamming Brady Best. Oh, he's injury prone. He's all hype. He's never going to be potential. And then 2023 rocks around, and he finally gets over a lot of these soft tissue injuries and starts stringing games together. And then we see the rise of Bradman Best. It was no coincidence. We all knew them. We just got to keep him healthy, keep him on the field. There's a fucking great football player there. Big, tough, strong, damaging. And just over this 100 games, he is just fucking thrived. I still stand by. He's the best specialist left center in the game. I know you got Trell Mitt doing his thing, but week in, week out, left center, Brady Best is it for me every single day of the week. We also saw the return of Tyson Gamble, his 5th NRL performance of the game. Again, 11 minutes played, didn't have massive influence of the game. I think we're all sitting back when it was in field goal territory and going, shit, who's going to fucking ice the field goal? And we all forgot, oh, shit, that's right. We still got Tyson sitting on the bench. We all know, he kicked that beautiful one, 2023, round 7, when we took it to the fucking Panthers. And that was a heartbreaking fucking loss too. Another one where we commended the boys. Very similar kind of game in that regard, I guess. So, obviously didn't have enough there. Only 11 minutes. Yeah, I don't know. Just didn't have enough opportunity there to do much. Young Tommy Cant and Matty Croker, I thought, JSAF being, very, very limited minutes. Those guys came in, did a job against, the top 4 Wars. Jaden Brayley picked his moments really, really well too. I thought great service, didn't stifle the attack. Great game there. Phoenix Crossland. This game has cemented the fact he is going to be a lock forward. He has to be a lock forward moving on. I don't want to see another game where Phoenix Crossland is playing 9 or 14. Don't want it. 13, week in, week out. I thought he was absolutely exceptional there. We all know what he does defensively. He's a great link man. Come through as a half. We know he's got that kicking game about him, bit of ball playing. I think he suits the modern day lock so well. Let's use the rest of this season to develop him into the 13 that we know he can be in 2026. I think it'll just add to this team so much more, keeping him there. So, but all in all, as I said before, 2 teams that really lent into their strengths this game. I honestly can't look back on one play and thought they had an absolute stinker or didn't really impact the game in a positive way. I think both coaches would be very proud of all their players that went out there. It was just one of those games where both teams fucking gave it everything, and it is what it is. It is what it is. We can sit back and go, hadn't we had Gastro? Had we had Lucas? Had we had KP? Yeah, it may have been. It may have been. But that's not how fate or destiny works, battlers. That's just not how reality works. The reality is we had 17 blokes out there that fucking gave it their absolute all against a team that's going to be finals bound. Yeah, they're well entrenched in the top 4. They're a fucking good football team. It is what it is. Plenty to take away from that game. We certainly didn't beat ourselves in that game. I know it sucks and it had a lot of emotion, that game. I'm still trying to get over those emotions. I'm feeling better the more and more I talk about this game. But as I said, 2 teams lean to their strengths. Great to see. Plenty to take away from this game. Still plenty to take away. I know it was a do or die type of game. I felt like, we haven't got many home games left and we want to be winning these home games when we're getting to the territories now like we need to. I don't know. I haven't got the calculator out. Has the word calculator even been mentioned in the comment section, Lou?
Not yet, no.
Oh, we in calculator territory. But look, all in all, I think we can be very proud of the boys' efforts. I think it'd be you'd be a bit harsh to sort of say they didn't do anything else but play proud, and it is what it is. This is one of those games of football. Could have gone either way. Here's what it is.
Shout out to all the Wars fans in the chat. We've got a few subscribers and they've just been giving us love.
Oh, I fucking knew it. I knew it. If there's one thing I can read like a fucking halfback, battlers, it's the Wars supporters coming in here and give us love.
Jason here saying, Warriors fan here, a new subscriber to your channel. Keep up the good work. And Ord, subbed Wars fan here. Love your passion. Good man. Sorry about the loss. Heads up.
Oh, thanks very much, guys. Appreciate it. Well, again, it was a really good game. Both evenly matched teams. I don't think, even heading into it, I didn't feel like, I think there were some people saying, oh, it's going to be 13 plus one way or another. I certainly didn't feel that. Certainly didn't feel that at all. I really did feel like it was going to be a real tight affair. Definitely going to be a 1-12 job. And that's what we got at the end. 5 points. Seriously.
Christopher said, proud of the effort yesterday.
Yeah. Seriously, I know once you remove the emotions, the old adage, I keep saying it, when emotions are high, intelligence is low. And then when you start putting things in perspective, the illnesses, that getting dragged through the mud through the media, like, Jesus, buzzing that we're kicking the fucking shit out of us. Bet Braith here, the Newcastle Knights, they just can't get it together, mate. They've had to get their superstar Dally M winning captain to come out and post on Instagram. It's just not good enough, Braith. They need to be winning football games without him. Anyways, piss off, Buzz. Leave us alone. They must.
Waz HQ said Knights deserved the win.
Oh, mate, a lot of play. We're getting that a lot.
Yeah, it's come up a lot. A
Is
lot
it?
of good
Oh.
Wales supporters in here saying we deserve the win.
You know, it was just, on reflection, it was two teams just going fucking at it. I know there were some questionable calls either side. I'm certainly not sitting there going, the fucking ref screwed us on this. I know, you know, that Brady Best one certainly wasn't a fucking knock on. And, you know, a lot of Wales supporters might be thinking, oh, the Greg Marzu offload might have been a completed tackle. I thought it was fucking borderline. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Both teams, yeah, should be proud of their efforts. And yeah, you can only have one winner. Do you know what this game would have been great? This game really, if there was ever a case to go, you know what, there needs to be a draw, that was the game. That was the game where you've gone, you know what, these teams are just going fucking head to head. Give it a draw at the very worst. I know I'd love the fucking win. I'd love that Jack Cogger field goal to go down as one of the great field goals of all time. But yeah, wasn't to be.
George here says, feel for you as a Waz fan. I still remember Coach try versus use. What goes around comes around. You awesome, sexy people will get your turn soon.
Yeah, the Xavier Coates try. That's right. Yes, I've seen that mentioned a few times. Yeah, he yes. Well, you know exactly what we're going through. Yeah, that was an absolute heartbreaking try on the stroke of full time there against you guys to lose the game. That's right. So yes, that's it's nice that you guys can reflect back on us and go, yeah, we feel your pain. We feel your pain. You're a great fucking supporter base. You really are. You really are. Second to only the Battlers. All right. Second only to the great Battlers. All right, let's move along, shall we? To let's answer some of your burning questions. I'm sure you got a few there, Battlers. So let me extinguish some of your burning questions and bestow some absolute wisdom on you. Brought to you by Get Out Alive Fire Safety Training. You work in a business, Battlers, chances are you are not prepared for fire and or emergency. So make sure you get in contact with Get Out Alive Fire Safety Training for all your training, plans, procedures. Because if you do not learn, you will burn. All right.
While we're waiting for some comments, oh wait, you got the call. You play that.
Let's kick it off. Let's take a couple of calls here. We've got Sir Justin.
Wow. Just wow. That one really, really hurts.
Yeah, it does, brother.
Oh, fuck's sakes. Oh, man. Couple of things I noticed. A, we need a fucking conversion kicker. We need someone who can kick those conversions. Because the lack of points there is fucking hurting us big time. B, the lack of ill discipline. It did hurt us. Oh, man. And C, fucking tackle them. Seriously. They're fucking playing Oz tag with some shit, in that, especially in that last try that won the Wires the game. Oh, man. Why be a Newcastle United supporter?
Oh, Justin.
Honestly. Thanks for another amazing stream, Lou and Link. Sorry it wasn't a W. But yeah. Fuck's sakes.
Oh, Justin. Mate, have you been on a fucking emotional roller coaster, pal? I think on reflection, mate, you know, again, we do have a great fucking goal converter. Dane Gagai. Very surprised. You know, the yarn was last week that he had a leg injury. I was still skeptical then. He did not play like a man last week against the Storm, playing fullback for the first time since 2018 with as a man with a leg injury. He was killing it. Over 200 run meters. I remember over 250 by memory, if my memory serves me correctly. Mate, he was fucking icing them all over the place. So very, very strange. You know, Jacko takes the first two, and then we lean the gags. I know he didn't get his one and only attempt as a goal converter, but yeah, sucks. You know, would have changed the game, maybe. You know, we left 6 points on the board there, but, you know, I'm never too critical, mate. You shouldn't really rely on your goal kickers to do a job there. That's not why we lost the game, ultimately, I feel. And, mate, I know you would love Dane to wrap the ball up, and it just is what it is. It was messy. But, mate, there was some massive fatigue in that game. There was such a tough physical game. Both teams were out on their feet. I think the point that proves that is the fact the Wars, you know, showed their hand by trying to kick the field goal about 7 or 8 minutes left on the clock. I think they felt like we're fucking gassed here. I don't know how much more we've got in the tank. I feel like they front loaded a lot of their stuff, and I felt like, oh, maybe we can catch them here. Maybe we feel like maybe they're thinking, shit, if we don't take this opportunity, the Knights might come home too strong here. And even when we went that penalty goal, even at that moment, I know, our outside backs were firing and doing some great things. I didn't mind that decision. It nearly paid off for us, didn't it? Go on those 2 points. I know, unfortunately, Jack Cogger does that high shot on, I can't even remember who it was. Was it DWZ for a cheap penalty? That one was annoying because, that was just a little bit of ill discipline. But mate, seriously, these boys were absolutely fucking gassed. Both teams were just fucking giving it to one another. It is what it is. And mate, as I said, there were a lot of blokes. We'll never know how crook some of those boys were out there. Literally running on empty. Wouldn't have eaten a goddamn thing the last 2 or 3 days. Barely any fluids. They were not at 100%. The fact they turned up and did what they did against the Wars, just goes to show you, mate. There's plenty of underbelly in this team. I know we've struggled in attack. That has been abundantly clear in 2025. But one thing we can't say is that this team doesn't have a fucking dig. They have a fucking dig. It's not through lack of effort. This team has plenty of effort and plenty of ticker. It's just we've got to sort out the blueprint in attack. That's abundantly clear. Defensively, and defense is all built on effort. That's the encouraging part. We're willing to do that. We're willing to get in the grind. We're willing to do all that stuff. It's just we've got to sort out the playbook, and that's not so much an issue with player talent. I know there's some positions there we need to upgrade on and fill, but overall, I think that's the big problem for the Newcastle Knights. I know we took a step in the right direction this week, but there's certainly no knock in this team's grit, and that just showed it. How many other teams, there would have been other teams that would have leaked a fuck ton more points this week. Had the Warriors come to town against some of the other teams that we've seen get absolutely blown away by other teams. Teams that are not even as good as the Warriors. At home, no one has really blown us off the park, so to speak. I think the Sharks game was the biggest one, and that was a one-off. We've been in most games as far. You look at scoreboards, we haven't been too bad in that regard whatsoever. All right, Tompy, what do you got?
Hey, Lincoln Lou and fellow battlers, it's Tompy here. My friend made a comment the other day to me about Joey Johns and why he won't maybe pick up a coaching role or coach the Knights, and she thinks it's because he's afraid of failure if he was to pick up a coaching role with the Knights and not do well. What are your thoughts, and do you think this is maybe the reason Joey isn't coach, and not because he doesn't want to, but because he's afraid of failing?
Tompy, Joey Johns is afraid of nothing. He's an immortal amongst men. I tell you why Joey Johns doesn't want to coach, because who would want to coach? To put it bluntly, Joey. To put it bluntly there, Tompy. Look, he's obviously he's a great mind, isn't he? He's got one of the great footy IQs. I don't care if you're a Queenslander. Deep down, you know it. You still got nightmares about Game 2, 2005. Elite level talent. Look, that doesn't necessarily mean it transfers into coaching day in, day out. There's a lot of stuff coaching, right? You can be a gun player and know your X's and O's that well, but there is so much ancillary, tasks to becoming a week in, week out head coach. Roster management, recruitment, all these other fucking moving parts, media. There's so much other shit that goes on than just X's and O's. If all Joey had to worry about was running, tape and telling boys what they're doing right and wrong and all that, maybe. But there's just so much other stuff I think that people don't really realize that head coaches have to do. And I just think guys like Joey just aren't interested in that. I think he's got a great, job there at 9, been there a long, long time. Matt's like Matty. Like Matty's got one of the great jobs on earth. Why on earth would you want to give that up to be a fucking coach? and put yourself through that fucking misery. So I think that's all it is, Tompy. Probably he's obviously a really, really great halves coach to get in the building and mentor younger halves or even older halves and rounding out their game. But as far as week in, week out, doing presses and just that, it would just, Joey might even go, look, I'm just not built for that. I'm over that. I'm more than happy just to come on 9, do my thing there. Little bit of a coaching stuff here and there with halves, and that'd be about it. But yeah, I don't think he's hyper uber competitive. I don't think he'd be afraid of the challenge. If he wanted to coach, I think he would be coaching. I don't think it'd be fear holding that man back at all. So there you go. There's my long answer regarding Joey Johns. I'm always going in the bat for our boy Joey. All right, what do we got, Lou?
Noah's asked, correct me if I'm wrong, when a player attempts a drop goal and fails, then one of their teammates pick up the ball. Isn't it considered a knock on?
Is this regarding the last kick? Mate, truly, I don't know if I got it in me to go back and watch that play. So if it's anything regarding that, so correct me if I'm wrong. So when a player attempts a drop goal and fails, then one of their teammates picks up the ball. Isn't it considered? No, because I think the moment didn't they deem that like a what do you call it? Like a charge down? I don't know. I'm if it's referring to that last play, mate. I don't know if I got it in me. It's going to take me a long while to go back and look at that try. Sorry, I can't give you any analysis on that.
Paddy's asked, can we fuck off the captain challenges altogether? They're a blight on the game.
Mate, how many did the Warriors get right? My God, I feel like they got like fucking 3 or 4 of them all on a trot, and then we butchered ours on that fucking front rowers and captain's challenges. Boy, oh boy. I don't know what Leo was thinking with that one. That was never, ever, ever going to fucking pay off for us. Yeah, look, mate, I know games like this, it sucks, doesn't it? But then they do come in clutch. Like, had we not have done that and we get that ridiculous knock-on call by the ref, which it wasn't a knock-on. It wasn't even remotely going bloody forward. And you can square it up by going, no way. So, yeah, give or take, mate. I don't mind it. What captain's challenges frustrate me are the ones that are just fucking wasting time and they're used for that. They're nothing more than a team that's got, for whatever circumstance they're in, they're just looking to burn up time on the clock, or it's just a Hail Mary one where it's the ref got the right call. There's no way that he's got it wrong, and you're just sitting there in your lounge for 2 or 3 minutes just going, for fuck's sake, why are we doing this? This is complete, It's obviously a Hail Mary play or a time-wasting exercise by either team. Just, move on. But I don't mind it, mate. I don't mind it.
James asks, with the longest odds on the weekend at $4.70, do you think we win another game?
Oh, let's take a look at the run home. Let's take a look at the run home for the Newcastle Knights in 2025. Oh, God. Where are we? Telstra Premiership. Let's have a look. Where's the draw? Where's the draw for the Telstra Premiership?
Darling, hold my head.
All
Nothing
right.
beats a Jet 2 holiday.
A Jet 2 holiday. All right. Where are we? All right. This week we have the Raiders again. What was that? What was that, a month ago? We had Jesse around for the Night's Watch. There you go. Got the Raiders again. Doesn't get any easier. We're going to get another top 4 team. Lucky us. Before we head into the bye, then we play the Penrith Panthers, who are starting to really mount a comeback. So that's going to be fun. The Cowboys, they're bloody up and down like a fiddler's elbow. Up in Townsville, maybe we play to our best and they continue their sort of up and down form, potentially. Oh, this is the one we have to win. Fucking Broncos at home. We literally have 2 more home games. The Panthers and the Broncos. We must win. Put it this way. If we lose this game, when I have 3 other Broncos supporters in there for this Night's Watch in that fashion, fucking hell. That might be the end of the night. That might just tip me over the edge.
Oh, no.
That might be it.
Stream cut.
Oh, I'd have to go on a long fucking hiatus. I'd be on a sabbatical somewhere. Raiders tough, Penrith tough, Cowboys at home. You'd have to say we're going to be outsiders in that one. Broncos coming to town. You'd have outsiders, like, let's be honest. And then they've got the Sharks away and Parramatta away. So you'd have to say, dude, we're going to be outside favourites all those games. I don't know if we're going to be $4.70 outside favourites. let's be honest, against the Raiders, last time we took it to the Raiders, didn't we? It was only super unfortunate. We had that Jackson Hastings knock on, and KP was dealing with that Liz Frank injury. And then, who was it? Was it Ethan Strange? I can't remember now who got the try, but we had no, KP wasn't there to clean it up at the back, and just a horrible set of circumstances. That was their only try in the second half. We're every chance of winning that game against the bloody Raiders. I don't know. I feel like we got to win. We're not going to go winless, put it that way. You still got the Sharkies. The Sharkies are fucking up and down too, dude. And you got the Dill Brown Bowl, the beautiful Dill Brown Bowl to end the season. He might even be playing. Who knows what the bloody Parramatta Eels are doing for him. Let's hope at the end of that game he's just jumping on that Sid Fogg bus back home. What now?
You bring up the Dylan Brown Bowl, and then I'm bringing up this comment from new subscriber, the Toilet Inspector. Are you excited about Dylan Brown's arrival?
The Toilet Inspector. Of course I am. Yeah, what a beautiful segue. The Dill Brown Bowl, brother. Yes. Mate, I've been championing his arrival for so long, and people are going to look back. I had plenty, and they're still out there, plenty of people going, Link, you're a fool. What are you doing, mate? What are you thinking? How did you possibly think this was a good idea? It's going to be a good idea. It's going to pay dividends. All those naysayers, you're going to have egg on your face. He is going to. How many times have we looked at games and we've dominated so many metrics and we just couldn't ice the moments? We just couldn't execute plays. We just lacked that little bit of class. I take you back to that Melbourne Storm game. That was the difference. That was the difference in the two. As I said before, we've got the tough, gritty stuff about us. We just need that cream on top. And Dill Brown's going to do that. He's a great player, Dill Brown. Unfortunately, we're probably not going to see much of it because, Jason Rolls is established. We're playing towards the future. So Talon De Silva and these sort of guys are coming in and doing some stuff. And Dill Brown's going to get pretty limited game times unless there's a bit of injury because they're obviously not going to be in final contention, the Parramatta Eels. But, yeah, of course I'm excited, mate. And we get a guy that's coming into the peak of his powers, 24 years old. This is where these guys really start to take off. So, I think him, Razor, and KP in the same team, in the spine, fucking look out. Look out. I think there's plenty of highlight packages coming to the Newcastle Knights while Dill Brown's in town, mate. 100%.
Joseph's asked, why are we only able to score in one half? Usually can't score in the first half, but yesterday it was the second half.
Yeah, you're right, pal. A flurry of tries in the first half, 3 in 9 minutes, and then couldn't land a blow on him again in the second half. But only through a penalty goal and a field goal, we managed to get any kind of points. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? You'd have to say the Newcastle Knights are probably the team this season that's had the most tryless halves. It's becoming a bit of a theme in it, but yeah, you're right. It's usually first half we sort of stutter a bit, and then we start to, whether it's in garbage time or whatnot, we finally start to click and get our act together and post some points. But it was the other way around this week. I don't know, man. Again, going back to that blueprint in attack, hope that's one thing we're going to look forward to in 2026. And I'm sure with Dill Brown coming to the club, we're going to get a revitalized attack. We're not going to have the same attacking processes that we've had this game. You can't have a quality half like Dill Brown come and keep that stuff. That's going to get whether it is, who knows? This, the Adam O'Brien stuff's still up in the air. That hasn't been put to bed like Kalen Ponga. Whether it is a new coach or, we bring in a new attacking coach, if Blake Green gets his Castleford gig or whatnot, we just freshen up the whole thing. Who knows? But we're going to get a brand new style of attack. We have to. Jeez, we'd be fucking crazy to roll out what we've seen this year again in 2026.
Paddy's asked, what's our best starting pack for next year?
Ooh. Forward pack. Well, you're going to have lock it in. You're going to have Phoenix Cross at 13. He has to be there. You obviously can have JSAF. Maybe your boy Pastrami solo. Don't know. We've obviously got Pastrami coming. I don't know if Brody's going to do it week in, week out starting. Frizz, I'd love to see Frizz stick around, whether he's going to be a bench guy or starting. You got young Lockie Crouch again. He hasn't even made his debut yet. Cody Hopwood still hasn't made his debut yet. There's Peter Holler that we got from Q Cup. It's certainly that one's well up in the air, man. don't know who's going to be parting JSAF and Crossland in the middle there, dude. Yeah, let's hope some big name comes out. But yeah, I don't know. There's a couple of maybes, but certainly no certainties. Like I said, it's going to suck fucking losing Leo. You can just see him under Cameron Serraldo. He's just going to he's going to take off. His best years are certainly in front of him.
Got a comment here. I can't pronounce that name. Do you want to give that a go, Lincoln?
Can't really see. Where? You went.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did it say? No, you read it.
You went viral in New Zealand, mate. Coates did the same thing to us Waz fans last year. FML.
Brother, I knew it was going to go viral. There's a reason why I cut that shit up. As heart fucking breaking as it was, mate, this is what you got to do as a content creator. You got to put your emotions to the side.
Lincoln was very quiet, editing, eating his pie and chips.
Yep. Barely a word out of me. I'm sat there just going, I know this fucking sucks, but you know, my gift to you, WAR supporters, and it just goes to show you the passion and the dedication of the battlers, of the Newcastle Knights supporters. We love hard. We dream big. And when our hearts are broken, it fucking breaks hard. And that video epitomized. It was an ode to all the other battlers who could resonate and relate to that video and go, yes, Link, yes, I know how you feel. I was you in this moment. You can reflect back on that video, and we'll all look back at it sometimes. This is the highs and lows. You got to record them. This is why, you know, you got to remember the lows. This is what I cannot understand, right? This is no knock on you, Guru. I love Rugby League Guru. I can't for the life of me understand how people don't have a rugby league team. These guys that are they love rugby league for rugby league. I'm like, you're missing out. I know it's heartbreaking. You have your heart ripped out of your ass and it sucks. But then you have these great games like we had against Manly and you pull off these miraculous wins and you're on a high. It's the roller coaster. When you're not invested in a team, if you're not ride or die by a team, I don't get it. Again, it's sadistic in a way. You know, you have these cruel games and you just feel like shit and you're numb and you're lying in bed, just don't know how to feel. But then some games filled with elation and your week's made, your weekend's even better. The sky's bluer, the air's fresher, everything smells better, tastes better, everything. Everything is better when your team has a great win. But on the flip side, yeah, that's just the beautiful thing about sports, isn't it? When you ride or die, and you know, you got to remember the lows, battlers, because it makes the highs that much better. It makes them that much better.
Noah goes, I thought you died yesterday. Glad to see you're back, Link.
I had plenty of messages going, where'd you go, mate? Looking out for you. Where are you, mate? Where are you? No, I'm doing all right, pal. Doing all right. Again, if it had been to some other clubs like the fucking...
I was just about to say that.
Oh, if that were the Broncos that did that, bro, mate. Seriously, I would have had a fucking hard time coming up here and doing a match rewind on a bloody Broncos loss like, boy, oh boy. I would have been absolutely slammed, pal. Slammed. My mates would have just, I would have had to change my identity and fucking move somewhere in the Northern Hemisphere. I would have been out of here. But anyways. All right. Battlers, if you've enjoyed the stream, please give it a big old thumbs up. The WAR supporters, they've been smashing that fucking thumbs up button. Fuck knows how many thousands of views. I think they skip all the way to the end of the last 5 minutes and probably just watch that on rewind. But yeah, there you go. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. For your viewing pleasure, WAR supporters.
Amanda Stunts said, go check out Sean Johnson's reaction. So I'll have to check out that.
Yeah, I think it'd be very different to mine. Sure.
My TikTok is just full of WAR supporters cheering.
Yeah. God.
One night supporter.
Oh, God.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, God. Anyways. So, yes, if you could please give it a big old thumbs up. And if you wherever you're wasting your time on social media, make sure you look up The Knighted, like, follow, subscribe, all the good stuff there. It really does go a long way, battlers. If you're listening to this on Spotify, give us a big old 5-star review. Truly. You know, your boy is just gone through the ringer. All right. Hook him up with a 5-star review. Takes next to nothing, costs you nothing, helps us out immensely. Battlers, I'll be back tomorrow for the roster review show, looking at our upcoming clash against Ricky's Raiders. Ricky's Raiders game 2.0. This time we're in Canberra, baby. Can we get the job done this time? We'll wait and see. All right, battlers, I'm getting the Adam O'Brien out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow night for the roster review.